Hi, everyone. Welcome back to TESL Ontario's Perspective series. My name is Celine, and today we will be showing you two grammar-based activities that incorporate a wider range of skills. So, for example, listening, speaking, critical thinking, etc. As educators, we probably get stuck in a rut sometimes, especially when teaching grammar. And it's really important to shift away from a book or a worksheet so that your students can see the value of this grammar in real life. Right. So our first activity walks us through a beginner lesson, which was an adaptation from a boring textbook exercise. It incorporates listening, reading, and writing. And like I said earlier, it's catered towards more lower levels. The second activity was kind of designed for an EAP or an exams focused class in mind, where grammar is not explicitly taught, but it's expected at a high level. Like I said, both of these activities are adaptable and they incorporate a wider range of skills. So check them out.
In this lesson, I'll be talking about taking a beginner paper-based lesson and turning it into an integrated lesson. I was in the language lab and the students were kind of bored with taking a written paragraph in first person and turning it into a paragraph written in third person. So instead, I created an integrated lesson. So previously, the students would be rewriting sentences like this. I get up at 7 a.m., she gets up at 7 a.m. They were kind of simple, but also kind of boring. So in the new integrated lesson, they would be practicing speaking, listening, writing, and grammar. In this assignment, they would be interviewing and recording each other about their asking about their daily routines. So students would be asking questions and then also answering in the first person. The recordings were stored on software in the language lab, and they were able to access each other's recordings. Students could also use phones and swap, but in the age of COVID, maybe that's not the safest idea. So using something like Flipgrid would work. Whatever you decide to use, they would need to be able to access each other's recordings. So once the recordings are done, it's time to listen to their classmates. And then with that, the students would write or record the conversation in third person. So some other applications, you could be doing this with verb tenses. Students could record about an upcoming trip, and then another student would be rewriting it or re-recording it as a finished trip. So going from future tense to past tense. You could also practice clausing. So students could either record or write 3 phrases, and then the other student would then have to rewrite it. So Irene, who was born in Montreal, has lived in many countries. And then reported speech could also be practiced. Personally, I had arranged for delivery from IKEA, and then my husband had asked about it. So as I'm relaying the message about the delivery, I figured out that it would be a great reported speech exercise. So students could record a conversation between a customer and a business, as a customer and a business, and then they would listen to another group's recording, and then they could report on that conversation. So the benefits, the students get to practice multiple skills. There's a lot of authentic material, which is probably more interesting than the generic textbook stuff. And then students can get kind of competitive and come up with, decide who's the funniest story or conversation, who's the craziest, who's the saddest. So it also brings a bit of fun into the lesson. I hope some of this stuff was helpful for you, and thanks for watching this video.
All right, so for the activity that I'm sharing today, it's called Getting to Know You and Grammar. So as you can imagine, it's a bit of an icebreaker, and it's focused on grammar and getting to know you. I like to use this activity at the beginning of exam-focused classes. So students that are preparing for TOEFL or IELTS or Cambridge exams, because I feel like they really need to raise their awareness to different grammatical structures to maximize their scores in speaking and in writing. So my activity starts by listing some sentences about yourself in different grammatical constructions. Put students in pairs or small groups and have them work together to see which ones are true, which ones are false. I like to do half true, half false, but it's up to you how many you would like to do. The point of this is to get students thinking and asking questions and negotiating together to see if they can come to an agreement. I think that this works best in numbers of 5 to 8 sentences, and it can be done on a whiteboard or on a PowerPoint. The most important thing about this step is that students do not copy down the sentences. Once you've revealed to your students which ones are false and which ones are true, erase the sentences, leaving only one key word in each sentence. So here we have Italy, YouTube, nails. Students will then have to work together in their small groups and reconstruct the sentence word for word. After some time, again, depending on the amount of students you have, as well as their levels, reconstruct the sentences with your students. And then go into the meaning of this sentence construction. So of course, as we know, this sentence is in second conditional. You would want to mention the form of this grammar point as well as its use and clarify any queries or doubts they may have. Once you've gone through each sentence, which again could take some time, you want to board or put on the PowerPoint all of the grammatical structures that you use and make sure students are aware of these structures. These are the things that would really enhance their score on different tests or give them a more solid foundation of grammar in general. After you've listed, I guess, the meta language, you would have students create 2 or 3 of their own sentences using different structures and reveal them to their students. Again, you can do it like a 2 truths, 1 lie type of thing, and have that partner not only guess which ones are true and false, but also correct the grammar of that sentence and making sure the form is on point. Like I said before, this works best with higher level exams focused classes or with students that have like a keen awareness of grammar or want to know more about grammar. If you'd like to use something like this in lower levels, I have less successfully. Of course, you have to just use easier grammar structures and less meta language.
I hope you found both of those activities useful. Thank you so much, Irene, for your contribution to this video. And let us know in the comments, have you tried these activities before? Do you think that you will try them? We'd love to hear from you. Thanks again, and see you in the next video.